saya confuse sikit, jota lebih kurang 3 tak ada. Okay. Okay. So kita teruskan kita punya class for today. Okay, this is our second lesson in our practical session. So in our practical session, we discuss about how the experiment go on based on to our pre-lab, based on to the procedure in our lab manual for the last week. So untuk hari ini saya harap you dah refer to the template, how you write down the experiment report. Okay, so focus for today. Okay, we call it back what should we have learned in this experiment. We need to synthesize the zinc chloride compound. So I already state to you how the zinc chloride compound, the reaction between zinc powder and hydrochloric acid. And for the second, our task for today is determine the formula unit. Okay, the problem writing in your most probably in our writing pre-lab, okay, student already prepare the jota, but almost jota not complete. Means dia hanya lukis prosedur sampai nombor 6, nombor 7. Maksudnya sampai repeat je. After repeat eksperimen, saya tak pasti apa benda target eksperimen tersebut. So mostly student jota tidak lengkap. Sekiranya prosedur nombor 8, nombor 9, nombor 10 tersebut tidak boleh lukis, you need to prepare the simplification sentence to guide you. Oh, nak buat apa? Oh, nak determine the formula unit. Itu yang kita nak. Sebab bila dalam jota tak ada target. Tak ada target nak buat apa at the end of the procedure. So careful update your jota after this. Okay, so we focus to our experiment. Hopefully you can refer for this video. So saya dah sharing, bukan saya dah share hari tu. Okay, video apa sebenarnya you boleh go on. Tapi hari ni kita akan go on together, study the video. And then I will ask you what happened into the video.
This experiment is carried out to determine the formula of zinc chloride. In order to do this, the accurate mass of zinc and chlorine in a sample of zinc chloride are needed. Zinc chloride is produced from the reaction of zinc and hydrochloric acid. This is a crucible and its lid. Zinc and hydrochloric acid will be mixed in this crucible. But first, weigh the zinc powder. Is it necessary to record the mass of the crucible when the tare button can simply be pressed to get the mass of zinc? Place approximately 0.25 grams of zinc into the crucible and record its exact mass. Measure approximately 10 milliliters of 6 molar hydrochloric acid using a measuring cylinder. Hydrochloric acid is a mixture of hydrogen chloride and water, while pure hydrogen chloride exists as gas at room temperature. What will happen when hydrochloric acid is added to zinc? What will be observed? The observation can be predicted by referring to the chemical equation. At room condition, the stable form of hydrogen is diatomic molecule in gaseous state. So most probably, the formation of gas bubbles will be observed. Hydrogen gas is liberated from the reaction of zinc and hydrochloric acid. Add more hydrochloric acid and keep stirring until all zinc has dissolved. The reaction is less vigorous than before because less amount of zinc is left in the mixture. Some of it has already changed to zinc chloride. Once all zinc has dissolved, stop adding hydrochloric acid even if there is hydrochloric acid left in the measuring cylinder. Next, proceed with the heating process. Can you name the substances removed from the mixture during the heating process? It looks like the mixture is dry. Excess hydrogen chloride and water were removed when the mixture was heated. Handle the crucible with care. Use the white tile to support the crucible and prevent it from slipping. Leave the crucible to cool to room temperature. The crucible is not hot anymore. It can be touched comfortably using bare hands. Weigh the mass of the crucible and dry mixture. The heating process was stopped because the mixture looks dry and therefore it is believed that only zinc chloride is left in the crucible. What if it is not true? How to be sure? Reheat the mixture again. If the mixture is really dry, no more hydrogen chloride and water can be removed. Theoretically, the mass of the crucible plus mixture after the second heating will be equal to the mass of the crucible plus mixture after the first heating. But if the mixture is not really dry, the remaining hydrogen chloride and water will be removed during the second heating. The mass of the crucible plus mixture after the second heating will be less than the mass of the crucible plus mixture after the first heating. So, repeat the heating, cooling, and weighing process until the mass after heating and the mass after the next reheating is constant. Or for this experiment, 0.02 grams of error is acceptable. Sometimes the zinc powder contains impurities that does not react with hydrochloric acid. To check whether the solid left in the mixture is zinc or impurities, add more hydrochloric acid. If the solid is not zinc, there will be no reaction and no gas bubbles will be formed. If the solid is zinc, there will be reaction and gas bubbles will be formed. If that happens, you may need to add more than 10 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. That is why it is not necessary to measure the accurate volume of hydrochloric acid. No gas bubbles are formed on the surface of the solid. Most probably, all zinc has reacted. Adding too much hydrochloric acid will only make it longer to dry the mixture. Sometimes, the mass of the crucible plus mixture after the second heating is higher than the mass of the crucible plus mixture after the first heating. This happens especially when the crucible is not covered during the cooling process.
Okay, so according to the experiment given, okay, so we go through one part by part. Okay, so the first part, okay, I comment according to your pre-lab writing first. Okay, this is our apparatus we use during experiment. So the crucible and lid together. Okay, so with the crucible and lid together, if in your pre-lab writing, kalau you tak lukis lid, bermaksud mass yang you record hanya mass of crucible sahaja. Okay, tapi kalau you label according together the lid, so the mass target should be crucible plus lid together, and this is our solution hydrochloric acid, and we mix together to produce the zinc chloride. Okay, and then during we mix together, and you can refer to the procedure number 3 and number 4. Okay, procedure number 3 and number 4, during hydrochloric acid mixed together with the zinc powder, the bubble gas should be released. Okay, so this procedure should be occur in a fume cupboard because kalau you baca muka surat 2 lab manual, kenapa? Sebab the gases produced, which is the hydrogen gas, okay, easier to undergo the explosion if the fire sources near to them. Okay, so next part, after you mix them together, okay, what happen? Ni ini yang tempat during dia mix together. Prosedur nombor 3, kita masukkan hanya 10 ml of 6 molar hydrochloric acid. So remember, if you handle this experiment in lab, kalau you enter the experiment, so 6 molar of hydrochloric acid is concentrated. So should be careful lah, sebab tu dia kata handle at the fume cupboard, and we refer for this diagram, for this picture, so means that bila hydrochloric acid mixed with the zinc powder, the bubble gas was released and you must be stir it. Okay, tetapi what happen if the zinc cannot dissolve? So procedure number 4. Okay, so after done that, kita akan masuk more of the hydrochloric acid pada prosedur nombor 4. So maksudnya kita tambah lagi 5 ml. Tetapi total amounts of the hydrochloric acid tidak lebih daripada 20 ml. Kenapa? At the end of this experiment, dia kata tadi, kalaulah hydrochloric acid itu kita masuk banyak. Ini. Okay, for this diagram. Okay, kalau hydrochloric acid itu lebih banyak, so bila during heating tersebut, it require a lot of times. So what is our target this experiment? Kita nak dapatkan apa? Kita nak dapatkan zinc chloride compound. Any question according to the video of the experiment? Okay, ada soalan nak tanya? Tak ada? Okay, so during you complete the writing report, okay, I will give you a link again. Okay, supaya you boleh refer semula to make sure you understand how you prepare the writing report. Wait, Okay, so this is the table of the data of the experiment. Okay, so make sure saya nak you salin. You salin dekat mana? Dekat sini. Okay, I believe all of you. Okay, so I hope you already download for this template writing report. Okay, so I give you a minute to write down the title and objective together. Okay, salin sekarang. Title, objective, teori, saya bagi masa lepas daripada kelas. Salin dulu dua step ini. Title and objective. Dah download? Okay, title kita apa hari ini? Experiment determination of the formula unit. Okay, and then objective as easy in your writing lab manual. Ada dua objective. Theory you just copy from the concept in introduction. Mama. Mama. Okay, so dah selesai, ada soalan? Okay, kita fokus dekat sini. Okay, so dekat dalam template tersebut, including the procedure. So how the procedure I already discussed before, you must be copy the procedure in the passive sentence. All the procedure. Okay, when I recheck your pre-lab writing, so ada ones of the writing dia tak bagi diagram, dia bagi writing fully report. One of the student, daripada 44 student, ada satu pelajar yang tulis passive dalam pre-lab. Cannot. Passive sentence adalah fully writing report. Dalam pre-lab adalah simplification diagram. Okay, so yang ni saya let to you untuk you buat selepas daripada kelas. Okay, kita fokuskan dekat sini. This part. Okay, so okay, so I give you times to copy the table result into your table result and observation. Fill up now.
Madam,
Yes, sorry. Suara siapa tadi?
saya.
Ya Atira.
Kalau saya tak print tapi saya tulis benda tu boleh tak?
Ya, boleh. Tak payah download pun tak apa. Sebab sekarang ni saya let to you. Sebab nanti dalam exam tak ada template. Tak ada template. So, ambil kertas kacang. So, kita salin ikut flow lah. So, nombor satu tadi adalah apa? Okay, saya ulang semula. Kalau you tak download, you refer balik Google site, you salin dalam test pad. First, must be have a title. Second, objective. Third, theory. Complete after of the experiment. Okay? After theory, okay, after theory should be procedure in passive sentence and focus for this experiment. Okay, after we discuss, after we refer to the experiment, okay, so we fill up the data. So this data, I give you a time to copy the table result and we discuss it together. So I give you within 10 minutes to complete the table result here. Okay, so the first target kita adalah we need to measure the mass of crucible plus lid. So when I label lid means in our during experiment we'll measure the cover together, and during process pun kita kena cover lid together. Tapi kalau you lukis dalam prosedur kamu tadi ataupun prosedur lab tak ada lid, okay, tak ada lid maksudnya mass tersebut adalah without lid lah. Tapi disebabkan kita run experiment by virtual, so we use a one data only. So use my data. We discuss this data together. Okay, after then that we fill up the zinc powder. So this is we have the addition of the mass. Clear tak nampak? Dia punya number. Clear?
Sangat.
Clear ke sama?
Tak sangat.
Tak apa? Tak dengar?
Sangat.
Ya?
Sama-sama, madam.
Sama? Tak clear sangat? Okay. So the first data is 59.4890. Okay, this is your first data. Okay. And for the second data, this is a table result. Mass of crucible plus a zinc powder. So the analytical balance give a data is 59.7434. Okay. So during experiment, we undergoes the heating to make sure the mixtures between the zinc powder and hydrochloric acid become a compound which is a no solution presence. So means the zinc chloride form as our target product, and we measure the first heating first. So the mass given is 60.053O. And for the second heating, kita panaskan sekejap lagi, sekejap. Okay, and then we get the decreasing of the mass 16.0436. Okay, we have the four data together. Okay, during the discussion in experiment, at the end of the video, it's already said that sometimes we can have the more data. The second data can have the highest value compared to the first data. Why? The video already said that maybe during the cooling process, okay, so no lid hold together. So during cooling process, we need to quickly replace the lid onto the crucible. Nak kenapa? To make sure the compounds of the product form not totally absorb the moist surrounding. Maksudnya they absorb moisture from the surrounding. So bila they absorb moisture, so the mass of the second data sometime will increases. So tapi data hari ni saya bagi decreases, bermaksud second data di sini, so we can refer the compound is totally dry. Okay, so the first question. Okay. The first question is that we can proceed to the third data. Maksudnya third heating. Apa target dia supaya eksperimen ini berhenti pada second heating sahaja? Kenapa saya tak bagi third heating, fourth heating and another heating? Kenapa? Why? Siapa boleh respons? Masitah Adawiyah? Masitah Adawiyah? Masita, boleh tolong respon tak soalan saya tadi? Masita? Masita, are you hear me? No respond? Takkan saya tinggal seorang kat sini? Ingat attendant kamu saya boleh remove balik. So make sure respond, saya tak nak left. Lina Syazwani. Lina Syazwani, are you hear me? Lina Syazwani. Okay. Siti Aisyah Khalid. Siti Aisyah Khalid. Ke saya tak buka mic? Buka.
Ada, madam.
Kenapa saya panggil tak ada respon? Alright, okay. Fatimah Zahra. Fatimah Zahra. Fatimah Zahra. Tak ada respon. Hanis Alisha. Hanis Alisha. Ke saya yang tak dengar? Saya dengar tadi suara. Tak ada. Hazim Syazani. Hazim Syazani. Okay. Memang tak ada. Right, tak apa. Okay. Ahmad Danish. Ahmad Danish Adeli. Ahmad Danish.
Ada.
Okay, ada. Danish. Sorry, tadi rupanya saya baca F4 rupanya. Okay, sorry. Ahmad Danish, daripada data, saya hanya bagi 2 data je kan? Saya bagi hanya 2 data sahaja. Okay. Kenapa saya tak proceed kepada third heating ataupun fourth heating? Kenapa saya hanya bagi 2 sahaja? Kenapa saya tak bagi nilai dia 3, 4, 5, and so on? Kenapa bukan 5 kali repetition? Kenapa I just stop 2 times repetition sahaja? Ada dalam prosedur yang mostly writing pre-lab yang student ramai tertinggal. Apa target eksperimen? Menunjukkan eksperimen itu boleh stop. Prosedur nombor berapa? Aisyah. What prosedur? Apa target eksperimen? Apa target eksperimen? Nak
Determine
membuktikan.
the formula of unit zinc chloride.
Yes. Okay, betul. Determine the formula unit of zinc chloride. Okay, good. Okay. So, the data of the first heating here regarding to the procedure number berapa? The first data of the first heating here according to the experiment procedure number. Can you trace it?
Yep.
Procedure number berapa?
Number 5. Number 5.
Number 5. Number 5 dia kata place the crucible and the hot plate in the fume cupboard and heat the contents slowly so that the compound does not split during heating. Okay. Procedure number 5 adalah just heating. The apparatus we use is hot plate. Okay. Tapi the data given, the unit is gram. Bermaksud it should be the measurement of what? Analytical balance. So procedure of the after heating, is it according to the procedure number 5? What procedure?
Number 7.
Ya, procedure number 7. Sebab itulah saya minta pada almost student untuk understand the pre-lab first. Walaupun kita hands-on experiment together. Tetapi daripada video, daripada procedure, you must be understand because you have a task. Sebab you punya markah PB adalah according to the experiment. Okay. So experiment, okay, data the number 7 here, okay, dia kata cover the crucible. Kenapa kena cover? Sebabnya nak elak daripada compound zinc chloride ini absorb moisture from the surrounding and affect the data. Kenapa? Sebab data kita nak completely dry, totally zinc chloride, tak ada substance lain. Okay. So dia kata kat situ cover and biarkan dia sejuk pada room temperature. Wake the crucible and record the mass. So bermaksudnya sekarang, the first heating belong to the mass crucible and lead and also is our target product. Okay. And the procedure number 8, reheat, bermaksud data nombor kedua. Maksudnya sekarang, the second heating belong to the procedure number 8. Reheat, cooling again and record the mass. Okay, soalan saya tadi. Okay. Sekejap ya, ada gangguan sekejap. Okay, sorry for this part. Okay, so soalan saya tadi, okay, kenapa data yang saya bagi hanya 2 data sahaja? Kenapa saya tak teruskan reheat tersebut 3 kali, 4 kali, 5 kali, 10 kali. Kenapa? Siapa boleh jawab?
Sebab beza tak lebih 0.02 gram.
Okay, good. Itulah guide eksperimen utama yang mostly dalam pre-lab student tertinggal. Bila saya check almost student pre-lab, dia hanya berhenti sampai hitting, dah. Itu je. Tak ada target. So, bila you dapat two differences of the data, what should you do? You must be minus the two data together to make sure the differences between them not less than 0.02 gram. Okay, right now, Tan Ying Yi, tolong saya kira berapa perbezaan dua data ini, first and second hitting.
Okay,
Lebih
madam.
besar atau lebih kecil? Okay, try. Saya nak tahu. Kalau tak, kalau lebih kita kena proceed lagi hitting. Kecil ke besar?
Kecil.
Yes, kecil. So, itulah target eksperimen when you hands-on during in lab. Okay, so when we check the two differences data, this is a smallest than 0.02, no need to the third and the rest data. So, data yang mana kita akan pilih as our reference to measure the mass of zinc chloride. Sebab target kita adalah zinc chloride. The final data. Because the final data here, we can trace this product ataupun this mass of the compound is totally dry. Okay, for right now, macam mana nak dapatkan mass zinc powder? How we get the mass of zinc powder? Dina Izzati, macam mana nak dapat the mass of zinc powder here?
Mass of crucible tambah lead tu tolak dengan mass of crucible tambah lead tambah
Okay,
zinc powder.
good. Alright, good. So, this mass for the second data must be minus for the first data. So, you akan dapat massnya for this area. Okay? So, saya let to you untuk you kira mass di sini sebab cara kira sama macam pre-lab hari tu. Okay? And then, by using for the second heating, this data 16.0438 is our reference to find out the mass of zinc chloride. Okay, so macam mana nak dapatkan mass of zinc chloride? Muhammad Taufik On. Macam mana nak dapat mass of zinc chloride here?
The mass after first heating tolakkan dengan mass of after second heating.
Okay, so is it the mass for first and second heating we minus together? No. Kalau data yang kita tolak, okay, kalau the mass of second heating, okay, and the mass of first heating minus together, the data is less than 0.02. Nilai ini adalah rujukan untuk kita trace. Oh, eksperimen tersebut dah boleh berhenti. Dah boleh berhenti sebab kita confirm the data is a totally dry. Okay, and kita nak dapatkan zinc chloride. The mass of zinc chloride here bukan tolak first and second. Tak, sebab first and second ni trace dia nak detect eksperimen tu boleh berhenti ke tidak. So boleh berhentilah sebab perbezaan dia less than 0.02. So data yang kedua menunjukkan this is the compound is totally dry. Compound kita memang zinc chloride. So kita nak dapatkan mass of zinc chloride ni sebab 16.0436 belong to the mass of zinc mass crucible dan juga kita punya zinc chloride. So dapatkan zinc chloride macam mana? Tolakkan dengan mass of crucible tambah lead. So bermaksud at this area, sekejap Aisyah, 16.0436 minus 59.4890. Dapat? Boleh? So maksudnya nak dapatkan mass of zinc chloride, okay, data yang second heating ini tolakkan dengan empty crucible. Dapat? So baru kita dapat mass of zinc chloride. Okay, macam mana nak dapatkan mass chloride? Sorry, mass of chlorine. Macam mana nak dapat mass of chlorine? Nabila Asfa? Boleh ikut tak? Macam mana
Saya
dapat mass chlorine? Macam mana?
mass of zinc powder
Mass of zinc powder?
Tak. Mass of zinc chloride tolak mass of zinc powder mungkin?
Yes, good. Betul lah tu. Sebab kita nak chlorine je. Kita nak chlorine sahaja. So ini adalah zinc chloride. Zinc chloride consists zinc plus chlorine. So sekarang ini kita dah ada mass untuk zinc powder. So this data contoh saya label sebagai A. Okay. And then kita dah dapat mass of zinc chloride. Saya labelkan sebagai B. So if we want to find out the mass of chlorine, bermaksud B tolakkan dengan A, dapatlah mass of chlorine. Kenapa kita nak dapatkan mass of zinc powder dengan mass of chlorine? Kenapa? Sebab kita nak cari empirical formula of zinc chloride. So, lepas daripada table ni, apa kita nak buat? Buat table empirical formula. Sorry ya, hari ni ada banyak gangguan sikit. Okay. So, kita refer dekat sini. Dekat result. Okay. So, maksudnya bila you dah selesaikan data di sini. So, maksudnya sekarang ni. Yang ni saya labelkan sebagai A. Contoh, maksudnya data yang kedua. This is number 1. Number 2. So, we can find out 2 minus 1. Kita dapat nilai A. And then, dengan menggunakan data yang kedua, for the second heating here, kita nak dapatkan mass zinc chloride. So this is a data number 3. What should you do? So the data B here, produk dekat sini adalah number 3 minus empty crucible. Maksudnya data number 1. Okay. And then kita nak dapatkan mass for chlorine macam mana? So bermaksud saya labelkan dekat sini. Okay. So nak dapatkan mass for chlorine B tolak A. Okay, so what should you do? Okay, so daripada nilai C tadi, mass of chlorine and mass of zinc powder, so nak buat apa? You construct dalam empirical formula. Zinc, chlorine. So, saya let to you untuk you construct empirical formula. Okay, so the question is, what is the theoretical formula of empirical belong to the zinc chloride compound kita? Kalau ikut teori, apakah molecular formulanya? Okay, what is the empirical formula theoretical for zinc chloride? Ronan? Siapa nak jawab tadi? Quratul Ain.
ZnCl2.
Yes, ini teori. ZnCl2. So, daripada eksperimen, mana totally dry? Yang ini. Ini target final kita. So, maksudnya inilah second heating punya data tadi. Okay. So, kita nak tengok daripada data eksperimen, is it we can get totally ZnCl2. Okay, warna dia macam ni lah compound kita. Tapi bila kita proseskan heating tersebut, katakanlah third, second and fourth, probability this compound will overheating. Okay, bila overheating, this compound will become melt. Dia akan jadi cair. So bila cair, so dia akan avoid kita punya reading. Okay. So, kita go through balik apa yang berlaku dalam eksperimen tadi. Wait Aisyah. Okay, ini yang berlaku during eksperimen. Okay, so kita campurkan, we mix together the zinc powder and hydrochloric acid, so it can produce a bubble gas dekat sini. And then we stir to make sure the solution become totally completely dissolved, which is a homogeneous solution. And we proceed heating on the hot plate, so the bubble will produce until we get the totally dry of zinc chloride compound. Kita nak tahu dapat tak ZnCl2 according to the experiment. Okay. And finalize, we may measure the mass by using the analytical balance dan kita dapat collected data first and second heating. Faham cara prosedur eksperimen tersebut? Any question you want to ask before we proceed to next step? Cannot? Ada soalan nak tanya? Tak ada? Okay, so table ni faham? The most important for this experiment according for this table. Okay, so next part. Okay, Dekat bahagian calculation inilah nanti you akan tunjukkan empirical formula table kita. So, conclusionnya adalah dekat sini, apakah empirical formula of this experiment. Jadi, so saya nak tahu. Katakanlah you dapat dekat sini, contoh the ratio of the mole. Okay, katakan you dapat dekat sini mole ratio. Okay, Zn, contoh you dapat 1. Okay, and then chlorine you dapat 2.3. Okay, 2.3 for example. Okay, remember my statement. During experiment, please do not round off into 2. Okay, jangan round off. Dan during experiment, tak perlu darab dengan whole number untuk dapatkan nombor bulat. Kenapa? Sebab ini hanya eksperimen sahaja. Kita nak tengok daripada data kita, kita dapat berapa dia punya ratio of empirical formula here. So, you hanya buat conclusion dalam eksperimen kita, okay, according to the experiment data, empirical formula you get adalah ZnCl 2.3. Tapi, kalau ikut teori, empirical formula should be ZnCl2. Tak jauh beza pun sebenarnya 2.3 ni. Cuma kita nak tengok dalam eksperimen tersebut, kenapa boleh wujud decimal places. This is our part in discussion. Any question you want to ask? Yarit, faham? So saya ulang, bila calculation tak perlu round off. Saya nak tengok data dekat sini. Berapa kita dapat bersama-sama? Adakah totally closer, very closer to 2? Kalau you nak round off, calculation dekat sini maybe 1.98. So saya terima you round off jadi 2. Ataupun 1.99. Can round off to 2. So do not round off. Kalau you get decimal places here, you just label and experiment, kita dapat 2.3 only. Okay, boleh? Alright, okay. Okay. So, next part. Wait, Aisyah. Okay. So, this area for discussion. Ya, kejap lagi. Tunggu. Okay. So, this discussion, what should you do first? Okay, dekat sini saya nak apa yang patut you tulis. Okay, saya nak you tulis what is the empirical formula. Okay, value. Okay, empirical formula zinc chloride in theory. Okay, and then for the second, you must state the empirical formula zinc chloride in experiment. Okay, and then ketiga, you must be compare. Why? Empirical formula, experiment and theory not same ataupun is closer ataupun almost same. Okay, macam mana you nak compare? Okay, bermaksud ayat kamu adalah the presence of the error occur during the experiment. So what happened for number 4? You must state what is the sources of error. Error during experiment. And number 5, okay, how you overcome. How you overcome the experiment. How you overcome the sources ataupun how you overcome the error. Okay, during the experiment. Okay, and dan finalize baru kita akan buat this conclusion. Okay, source of error dekat sini saya tak nak you buat. Kau kata kamu cakap Tak pakai glove, tak pakai lab coat, cannot. Your source of error must be relate to the experiment. Macam mana you nak trace source of error? Dalam video tersebut, dia ada part akhir, dia kata sums problems. Sums problem itulah error during experiment sebenarnya. Saya nak you fill up into the sentence. So for your information, discussion ini adalah sentence writing. Dia mesti ayat penuh, dia tak boleh ayat pendek. Contoh, you jawab statement nombor 1. Empirical formula, titik bertindih, ZnCl2. Salah. Bila discussion, you must be write down in the sentence. Bukan paragraph, you can write into the numbering together. Dapat? Ada soalan nak tanya? You must do it first. Okay?
Madam,
Yes.
maksudnya kan kita kan ada 5 point yang kita perlu cakap. Baik kita tulis
Okay,
dalam
faham?
ayat yang complete lah maksud Madam.
Yes, betul. Ayat yang complete. Tak perlu buat paragraph. Contoh source of error ni saya nak minimum 3. Minimum 3 error yang wujud sepanjang eksperimen. Dia tak logik kalau kita dapat Zn terus totally kira ZnCl2. Maybe akan dapat round back. Akan dapat decimal places. Decimal places itu boleh trace berapa banyak error yang kita akan nak buat. So if you have the 3 errors, bermaksud you have the 3 data how you overcome the error. Contoh, error kamu kata tadi, the zinc powder cannot dissolve completely before heating. Yes, this is error. So what should you do? So this is the overcome to ensure no error present during the experiment. Dia kata tadi, the zinc powder cannot dissolve. So how you to ensure zinc powder dissolve? So nak buat apa? Stir lah. Stir the mixtures to make sure the solution become homogeneous. Okay, saya harap you faham Okay, tak apa, nanti during problem you can ask me. Okay, conclusion ni pula adalah jawab objektif. Okay, answer objektif. Okay, kalau objektif kamu adalah 2, objektif nombor 1, objektif nombor 2, ambil ayat objektif semula. Contoh, ayat objektif adalah synthesis a zinc chloride compound. So ayat conclusion kamu adalah zinc chloride compound, okay, is ataupun was synthesized, okay, synthesized by the reaction between what? By the reaction between what compound? Apa dan apa. Baru dapat markah 1 conclusion. Okay. And then conclusion nombor 2, jawab objektif nombor 2. Ayat objektif nombor 2 adalah determine the formula unit. So conclusion kamu ambil daripada perkataan the formula unit of zinc chloride compound is your answer from the experiment calculation. You tak boleh bagi theoretical sebab kita buat eksperimen. Kita nak trace eksperimen kita dapat teori ke sama dengan teori or not. Faham? Conclusion? Ada soalan nak tanya? Ada soalan? Tak ada?
Tak ada Madam.
Okay, faham Ayat conclusion, jawab objektif. Kalau objektif ada 1, conclusion ada 1. Objektif ada 2, jawab dia mesti ada 2 lah you punya conclusion. Okay, at the last, question. So dalam lab manual ada 3 soalan. So saya nak you jawab. Okay, saya nak you jawab and complete the answer into your writing lab report lah. Okay, so this fully writing report, you must be prepared. You must be prepared within 3 days time dia. 3 days after day. So maksudnya hari ni adalah hari Isnin. You must be passed out into the Google Classroom pada hari apa? 3 hari? Thursday lah. Hari Khamis paling lambat pukul berapa? Saya ambil tengah malam. So maksudnya saya tengok pukul 12. 12 AM. 12 tengah malam hari Khamis. Maksudnya hari Jumaat tu dah off. So dapat you fully writing report. Kenapa? You kena buat. Sebabnya kenapa? Sebab you ada markah PB regarding to writing report. Markah dia banyak. Kalau you nak score A Chemist, you kena tulis writing report dengan betul. So tugas saya adalah bantu kamu untuk writing report together. Okay? Cuma kita tak boleh, saya tak boleh hands on eksperimen dengan kamu lah sebab dalam keadaan sekarang. So sekarang ni kita hanya study the video and convert the data from the video into the fully writing report. Any question you want to ask?
Madam,
Yes?
saya kurang faham yang nak tulis yang teori tadi.
Okay, teori Okay, kita bagi bahagian teori. Tanya terus tau sebab nanti you nak buat report sendiri. Okay. Dekat teori ni, okay, according to your writing theory and when you refer to the lab manual. Okay, saya buka balik lab manual sekejap. Okay, dalam lab manual muka surat 1. Macam mana nak tulis teori? You tengok balik dekat bahagian muka surat 1, dekat the label of the introduction. Okay, this. Okay. So, kita recall back dalam lab manual tadi, macam mana you nak writing report. Ini title, so tak jadi masalah. You dah pandai. Okay. And then, objektif. Ini objektif. 2 objektif. You must be copy down. Okay. Ini part dia. Okay. So, the statement is the theory of the experiment. So, your data of the theory, you just copy this statement sahaja. Ambil je terus semua sekali. Saya terima.
Tak payah ubah cikgu.
Okay. Bagus ayat itu. Tak payah ubah ke cikgu. Okay. Kalau you refer to the lab manual juga, muka surat, wait . Hari ni kena tanya tau sebab kita baru mula buat writing report. Okay, this part. Okay. Kalau you study semula for this, okay, apa yang saya discuss adalah format of our writing report. We can label as the post lab. Okay. So, dekat theory for this area. Okay. According for the theory, it already state that write the consistently in your own word. So soalan pada kawan kamu tanya tadi, ubah ke tidak? Depends pada kamu. Kalau you nak olah balik ayat tersebut supaya jadi in your own word ataupun in our summary of the sentence is very good. Okay. Tetapi kalaulah kita tak dapat, okay, tak dapat nak buat summary, paling minimum saya terima, you just copy all the theory of the experiment from your lab manual. Saya terima dekat situ. Cuma some student dia copy tapi dia copy tidak habis. Bila dia copy tak habis, dia kata dia nak buat summary, dia hanya copy paragraf nombor 1. Paragraf nombor 2 dia tak buat. Padahal markah ada dekat paragraf nombor 2. So careful lah. So kalau you rajin, you nak summarize sendiri based on to your own words, it's very good. I let to you. Tetapi if you want to copy the sentence, then you don't have any idea to write down the theory, it's okay. Copy paste the procedure, copy paste the theory into our introduction here. Dapat? Ada soalan nak tanya? Dapat Okay. Procedure saya ulang, passive sentence. Okay, procedure passive sentence. Result observation, jangan pula you salin gambar dekat dalam discussion kita tadi, tak perlu. Yang gambar tu untuk kita buat discussion saja. Result and observation hanya table result tadi. Okay, kita complete the table. Sekejap ada baru masuk. Okay, tak ada. Kita ada masuk. Okay, and then what happened here? Okay, dekat bahagian result table sahaja. Lepas tu calculation, you buat table empirical formula. Discussion, ada 5 perkara yang saya nak you fill up. Okay, 5 perkara saya dah senaraikan tadi. Discussion and conclusion, jawab objektif, and for the last is question. Jawab soalan. Tak semua lab manual, tak semua eksperimen ada soalan exercises. Ada beberapa je eksperimen ada exercise, tapi eksperimen hari ni ada 3 soalan. So jawab ketiga-tiga soalan tersebut. Get it? Either you copy the question or not, I let to you. So paling minimum, soalan 1 ada jawapan. Soalan 2 ada jawapan. Soalan 3 ada jawapan. Get it? Ada soalan lain? What?
Cikgu, cikgu buat
Yes.
Dulu buat dalam Word ataupun kena tulis?
Kena buat dalam Word ataupun bertulis. Okey, sekarang ni saya serahkan kepada kamu. Kalau you ada teknologi untuk you type, tak jadi masalah. Saya serahkan pada kamu. Okey, kalau tak ada teknologi, gunalah writing your hands on lah. Maksud pakai pen, tulis dalam kertas, snap gambar dalam bentuk PDF snap gambar dalam bentuk PDF, upload dekat dalam GC. Tapi you ada teknologi, ada application Word ataupun any application, so you can type your fully writing report. Either one, I let to you. Okay. Dalam exam pun nanti pun saya serahkan pada kamu. Kalau kamu ada kelebihan untuk you guna teknologi ataupun you lebih selesa untuk type, you type. Kalau tak, you nak tulis, you tulis tangan. Yang penting, final answer, writing script report tu ada. Okay. Ada soalan lain? Saya menjawab soalan Ada soalan lain?
Madam,
Yes. Apa?
discussion tu salin soalan ke?
Okay. Apa semula?
Discussion tu kan madam bagi soalan, tu kena salin.
Tak payah. Dekat discussion tak perlu salin nombor 1 buat apa, nombor 2 buat apa. Dekat dalam area discussion saya hanya bagi panduan sahaja. Jangan salin ayat in dalam discussion kamu. Cuma you convert into sentence lah. Contoh sekejap. Okay. First statement. You terus buat ayat discussion. Saya nak you ceritakan value zinc chloride in theory. So, macam mana you akan buat ayat discussion? Okay, so you akan buat ayat full sentence lah. Ayat dia adalah the empirical formula of zinc chloride compound in theoretical is apa? Dapat 1 markah. Jangan salin ayat pen merah saya ni. Ini adalah guideline how you prepare the discussion. Okay, ayat nombor 2 pula. Buat olahan ayat apa yang saya nak nombor 2, iaitu empirical formula zinc chloride dalam eksperimen. Ambil lah. Okay, therefore, the empirical formula of zinc chloride compound during experiment is apa? Okay, so ayat nombor 3, kita compare. So, mesti ada ayat compare. So, the data of the experiment ataupun the empirical formula of the zinc chloride compound in experiment in theoretical are not exactly same. Kalau dia tak sama, kalau kita kira nanti sama. Kalau sama, you cakaplah same. But, okay, walaupun sama, masih lagi ada sources of the error. Okay, so sekiranya almost same ataupun does not same, okay, therefore some error present during the experiment. So bila you sebut je some error present during experiment, so kita akan senaraikan error during experiment. Okay, the first error, number 1 Roman, apa error pertama? Okay, number 2 Roman, apa error yang kedua? Okay, number 3 Roman, error yang ketiga. Okay, so therefore, okay, to overcome the errors during the experiment are what? Okay, number 1, dia mesti selari. Kalau error nombor 1 ni, you kata berlakunya split during we mix the hydrochloric acid into the zinc powder. So, precaution dekat sini, you kena avoid error yang pertama ni. So, kamu kata nak elak split macam mana? Carefully adding the hydrochloric acid into the zinc powder and stirs continuously to make sure the compound become homogeneous. So, dia mesti relate lah. Contoh, kalau you buat error nombor 2, you kata zinc chloride compound is melt. Contoh, melt. So therefore it will affect the data of the experiment. So overcome nombor 2 mesti menjawab kepada error nombor 2. So macam mana? So kita kena make sure lah pemanasan tersebut carefully dan to ensure pemanasan tersebut tidak overheating. Dia mesti relate. Dapat? Minimum 3 error dan 3 overcome the error. Okay. Overcome the error maksudnya precaution during the experiment. Okay, any question? Tak ada? Yes.
Yang precaution dengan yang error tu, kalau kita buat kotak boleh ke?
Boleh. Bagus soalan tersebut. Okay, saya terima. Okay. Katakan nak, okay, you buat error dan precaution, you nak buat kotak. Boleh. So, kotak pertama, kolom pertama, you tulis sources of error. Okay. And then kolom kedua adalah precaution ataupun how to overcome the errors. Okay, so sini nombor 1 error dia. So ini how to overcome nombor 1. So dia selari, tak jadi masalah. Yang penting kalau you buat kotak, ayat statement kamu mesti fully statement. Some student bila dia buat kotak, dia buat ayat macam buat nota ringkas. So cannot. Ayat dia mesti ayat lengkap. So kalau ayat tak lengkap, kamu tak akan dapat markah discussion. Sebab discussion ni adalah discuss. Bila discuss, dia adalah statement. Statement according to the data of the experiment. Boleh. So boleh buat table. Okay. So ada soalan lain?
Madam,
Yes, okay.
kalau nak type terus edit dalam template tu boleh tak?
Of course, can.
Okay,
You download,
thank
you
you.
type terus dalam template. Tak jadi masalah. Lagi senang. So
Okay.
mudahkan kita. Alright, okay. Ada lagi?
Madam,
Yes.
nak tanya sekali, conclusion nak tulis empirical formula of zinc chloride, right?
Yes, good.
Like this, I want to write the empirical formula depends on my experiment or theoretical empirical
Depends
formula.
on experiment data.
Okay.
So,
Thank
okay,
you,
the
madam.
first objective adalah empirical formula. So, saya ulang ayat soalan kawan kamu. Okay, dia tanya. Okay. Conclusion nombor 1. Target dia adalah, okay, nombor 2. Objektif nombor 2 adalah formula unit. So, ayat kamu ambil balik ayat objektif. The formula unit of zinc chloride compound is tersebut ini mesti adalah data eksperimen, bukan data teori. Teori memang dah betul. Kita buat eksperimen adalah kita nak cari adakah dapat sama macam teori. Dapat? So maksudnya conclusion mesti menjawab data calculation eksperimen. Kalau calculation kita salah, so you akan salah pada bahagian conclusion. Okay, get it? Ada soalan lain? Tak ada. Okay, so saya anggap tak ada lah. Saya anggap faham. Okay, so kita sekarang ni 12.10. Okay, lepas ni saya akan sharekan link semula video tersebut dalam Telegram. You study sekali lagi to make sure you understand lah the concept of the experiment and you can prepare the writing report. So 3 days after today's, okay, you need to upload into the Google Classroom. Okay, so kalau tak ada soalan, saya rasa ini sahaja tugasan kita untuk lab. So inilah keadaan yang berlaku bila kita run eksperimen every week. Okay, minggu pertama pre-lab, minggu kedua writing report ataupun discuss the experiment, and then minggu ketiga kita akan discuss writing report, cara penulisan. So saya nak tengok writing kamu, so saya akan komen dekat situ. Okay, so kalau tak ada apa-apa, we end of our class lah for today. So make sure